So this is how this works, right? I don't make videos for weeks, and then all of a sudden, I see reasons to do another. Um, and tomorrow, this morning's reason was Novabug. Chris had a nice question, and the question I felt that I wanted to respond to it, which I did. Linking to my video that I made yesterday. Um, of course, I had an opinion that I wanted to share, but I thought, let's give it some time. Let's just mull it over a little bit, think about it, and then try to respond in a well mannered way. But we're among friends here, so. And then I watched Mark's response, Lactobacillus. I was just watching it, by the way, so then I thought, let's record something. And that'll be my second and last video of this weekend, hopefully, unless something else happens again. I don't know. Mess with the mic here a little bit. So, Chris's question was, no, actually, his statement was that the generation of people that was born after us will not be nostalgic about the current generation systems. And Chris had reasons for that. And I disagree. Because, and my response to Chris in the comment section of that video was that it is a form of arrogance to think that the concept of nostalgia is preserved only for a single generation, us in this case. If you look at it that way, I mean, nostalgia is a part of being a human being, and I don't think, although I have no definitive evidence of it, but I don't think that the generation that was born after us, like my daughter, will be completely void of the concept of nostalgia, meaning remembering something that you had in your childhood and something that you would like back, or that you remember only the good things about and not the bad. I'm pretty certain that my friend's son, who turned 15 yesterday, he's been saving up for almost for a year to buy a PS4. It's something that he longs to have, and he's played it at his friend's house, but he can't afford it. And now, with his birthday yesterday, he finally got in the vicinity of having the money to actually buy and own one himself. That, in 15 years, when he's 30, is definitely going to go into his nostalgia bag, and he's going to think back to that PS4 with a load of nostalgia. After he's decided at 25 to sell it because the PS5 came out, and then way down the line, he's going to think back to that PS4. Ooh, those games were good, So, no, I definitely think that people are going to be nostalgic about the PS4 and the Xbox One consoles, and anything else. I mean, we shouldn't apply this only to gaming, because nostalgia goes to tea bags and to guitars and to anything that people like and lose. When we're thinking about this subject, I think we have to detach ourselves from our own perspective on life, um, because this is not about us. Nostalgia is something that just moves down the line, and no, people that come after us aren't going to be nostalgic about the things that we are nostalgic about. So talking about whether or not people are going to like the Atari 2600, as much as we do, no, probably not. It's probably going to be forgotten. They're going to think it's silly. I mean, just detach yourself from yourself and think of all the things that your parents had that you think was cool and you would like to have back. There's not many things like movies or forms of entertainment, books, maybe holiday destinations or whatever. No, I think nostalgia is something that belongs to every human being. The phases that you go through when you were young, you you gain experience. You have impressions of places and people and items that you remember. And we often make the mistake of thinking that we are unique in a certain thing, but we're not really. I mean, this is just history repeating itself. People doing the same thing over and over again. We keep thinking that whatever we do and that whatever we experience is like the latest and greatest, so it must be unique. But it's not, People before us, even thousands of years ago, have experienced things that we are experiencing now. But never make the mistake of thinking that we are the first ones to experience these things. I mean, we're talking about the internet. Sure, I can definitely say that 1,000 years ago there was no internet, and it came into popularity during my lifetime. So that is something that is unique to my time. But the general concept of nostalgia and other things that are tied to being a human being, that's not going to go away. So really thinking that no one's going to be nostalgic for the PS4, that's that's a joke, right? Sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to. I really think that's a silly idea, of course. And even, I mean, I'm 44, 45, 44. I've got a couple of years, hopefully, if everything goes well. When I'm 80, I mean, I don't even have a PS4 yet, and I may not even have one. But I'm pretty sure that if I had one, that's going to go in my nostalgia list as well. When I'm 80, I'm going to think back, that's going to be a long time ago. When I'm 80, the PS4 is going to be very, very old. And I'm going to say, wow, that was a good console. Want to bet? Definitely. Definitely. Unless, of course, there's one caveat, when you think that nostalgia has to do with actually having access to the item or to the place or to the thing that you're nostalgic about, then you may be in trouble because not everything is going to be available. I mean, if I can be nostalgic about Windows 2.1, yes, there was a Windows 2. But the chance of actually running it, finding it, running into it, sound dropped away maybe. Sorry. I mean, that's going to be, the chance of that is small. But is that nostalgia? Does it really have to be in your possession? Do you have to have access to it? I can think back to things that are in my memory and that I can be nostalgic about. I mean, the nostalgia is an emotion, isn't it? I mean, it's an emotion that can be regenerated just by thinking back. So, Chris, thanks for asking the question, for inspiring me to make a video about it. Good going, man. We probably think differently about the subject, so but that's okay. I mean, it's no problem. Have a nice rest of the weekend. Bye bye.